We back. In this world of The Walking Dead, survival it ain't just about fighting off walkers. It's about making the tough choices, knowing who to trust, and adapting to your environment. And when everything fall apart, you gotta have some instincts on your side. Some characters, they mastered it. Other characters, they might not make it so far on their own. But today, we ranking the Walking Dead characters by their survival skills. Kicking off, we got Sarah. Now, we all knew she was gonna be here, I'm not gonna lie. But, bless her heart, poor thing. Listen, she'll freeze up in any dangerous situation. And if you need a hand and see around, you gone for. You done with. You think she finna help you? She gonna be gone. Listen, this is what the wonderful parenting of Carlos get you to. Last spot. Now, next spot. We got Duck. Now I know he just a kid, but them walkers don't care if you a kid. Them things eat kids, them things eat babies, whatever thing breathing. Like, Duck, he got a whole lot of energy though. Now we know Duck, he might have been a cool kid in a normal world, but this is zombie apocalypse we talking about. And he more of a liability in this situation. Usually get into trouble, he need rescuing a bunch. So that's why he's so far down this list. Now this next person, you might be like, what are you talking about? Are you dumb? We talking about Larry. Now Larry, his survival instincts, they are strong and they're harsh. But what puts him at odds is that this man, he need his pills. Cause he get worked up over anything, and once he get too worked up, hey, his life is on the line right there. A matter of fact, the first thing that Lee is tasked with doing is getting that man his pills. Because bro wanna snap on him. Like, he needs his old self down somewhere. He need to calm down. I don't know what got into him, but for that reason, his survivability is not all there. Listen, I know survival instinct, you could think it's just the instinct of surviving, but it also got to do with your body, your conditioning, and everything in between. Next up, we got someone who very brash, very bold, and very unlikable. I know who he thinking it is. It's not him. It's the other one. We talking about Gabe. Listen, Gabe, he think he's Superman or something. Like, yes, it's good to have confidence, but I think Gabe really has too much confidence for his own good that could really put him in trouble. But he does seem passionate, and he's convicted to what he gotta do. So, I'll give him props for that. But survivability, I don't think there's much to it. I think he'll survive longer than these other people that I already mentioned, but maybe not that long enough. Next up, we got that man Nick. Now Nick, he's somewhat resourceful, but his impulsiveness, and he trigger happy, so that could get him in trouble already. His survival instincts, I think he's shown it. Listen, he could probably go and try to save Sarah, but this man, he gonna cause more trouble than he worth. I know Pete, the man Pete, tried to help him out to make him this strong survivor, but I don't think it translated just then. He needed more time or something, because his survival instincts, they still pretty bad. Next up, we got my man's Omid. Now Omid, he down here, listen, I know he survived longer than some of the folks I haven't mentioned yet, but if you take Christy away, I don't think he would have made it as long as he did. Because we talking about individual, and individually, he doesn't take the situation seriously enough for him to really survive. Now, I know in a group aspect, he'll probably thrive a little bit because it seems like he follows directions. But that can only get you so far. Now, we got someone who might be controversial right here. We got Ben Paul. Now, you might be wondering, why is Ben Paul up this high? Are you crazy? What is you smoking on? I'm not smoking nothing. But what I'm saying is, listen, Ben put himself first. And Ben, he care about Ben. Listen, Ben, his survival instinct is He and him alone is the only one that matters. So if Lil Klemsky is in trouble, oh yeah, say goodbye, Klemsky. This man is leaving you in the dirt, and he really don't care. Now, in survival instinct, he about saving himself. So he might not save anybody else, but he gonna make sure that he good. He gonna make sure that he doing his part. Now you could say that this isn't good survival instinct. This is just him being afraid and selfish. But the way I'm looking at it, hey, if somebody gotta go, he said it ain't gonna be him. So that alone, and he young, but I feel like he got some of that athletic ability. So he got some instincts. Hey, I ain't say all the survival instincts mean you made the right choices. So he right here. Next up, we got Dougie Doug. If you don't remember, he's the first person from season 1 when you had to pick between Carly or saving Doug. And most people pick Carly, so they might not remember Doug. But me, I remember my man's Doug. Doug, he was technical, he was savvy with it. He knew technology, and I think he had potential to use his information they knew to make new technology. But sadly, we never get to see that. And I feel like he need protecting more than he could protect anybody else. Now, we got someone you might not be expecting. Arvo. Listen, Arvo, the reason I put Arvo over here is because this man take you to a place where it's snowy late, winter is absolutely terrible, and walkers is everywhere. So for him to thrive in that environment, it shows me that he has some survival instincts. Even though he a toothpick, it doesn't mean nothing, because hey, he ran through that ice like he been doing this stuff. So he got no morale, so he'll probably do anything to survive. Now next up, we got Lewis. Now I know everybody see him as the happy go-getter. Take away people from him, hey, this might be a hot take, but if you take away people from him, he'll understand the circumstances that he's in, and I think he'll make the right adjustments to it. That's not to say he got super good survival instinct, but he middle of the pack for real. Next up, we got Carlos. Now I know what you're thinking, why is Carlos here? Because listen, Carlos, even though he put Sarah at a disadvantage, he did that because he felt like he was strong enough and had enough instinct to do it all on his own. And we all know how that worked out. Great parenting, Carlos. But on to the next one. We got Violet. Now Violet, she kind of a lone wolf, but at the same time she's not, because she is with a group for the majority of her situation. And to be honest, she definitely one of the tougher ones of that group. That being said, we get near the top of the list now. Her survival instinct, it could be better, because with the twin situation, listen, if you didn't pick her, she'll betray you. But I think her true motive is her emotions, the emotions she feels. And I feel like that could put her at a disadvantage at some point. Now, moving on. We got Luke. Now, Luke, his downfall is that he's so trustworthy of others. And it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing at all. But he does seem to have survival skills. He can't walk on ice, but I think if you get him out that situation, he gonna be good. Like, I feel like he gonna be thriving. But with the next pick, we got something a little bit similar. We on Jane now. Jane, she remind me of Luke, but Luke, he actually wants to be with a group, and he wants the group to thrive. Jane, on the other hand, she ain't trying to be in no group. She don't care about no other folks. She just trying to make Clem a better survivor in her eyes, that put herself and only herself first. Next up, we got Lee Everett. Now you might be wondering, why is Lee this high? Because Lee, his death had nothing to do with his survival instinct. It had to do with him being a caring person. And him caring for Clementine, it kind of got him out of there. So I think if you put Lee in a survival situation alone, he basically thrive. and he could become a leader of any group at any point he wanted to. So that leadership, it really carried him up. But next up, we got Molly. Now Molly, if you don't remember Molly, she was also in season 1. She was climbing buildings, she was showing all that athletic ability, but she also had something to do with babies like Jane, and they both wanted to be alone. Now this got me thinking for a second. Hold up. Could we have just replaced Molly and put Jane there instead? Hey, I'm just thinking. Now, next on the list, we got the one, the only. We got Lily. Now I know Lily, hey, they kicked her out on the street. Either she had the RV or she didn't have an RV. But either way, she was able to climb in the ranks with her military background. Now listen, I know she wasn't in the military. That is my man David. Now David, he is also right here. Listen, they either sharing this spot, because both of these people, David and Lily, they both climbed the ranks of some different group after they got left. Lily, we know she was on her own. David, we know he was about on his own. And they both went thriving. So I gotta say, they survival instinct, it gotta be up there. Next up, we got Kenny. Now we done seen what Kenny do, cause all throughout Kenny time, he adjusts, he adapts to his environment. He almost has the perfect survival instinct. His only flaw that he has when it comes to survival is he's very impulsive, and that impulsiveness, it could really get him in trouble. Now, unlike David and Lily, he didn't rise through the ranks. Instead, he relied on making smaller groups and just thriving off of that, meeting people he could trust, meeting people that won't backstab him. Now, we getting on number 1 spot. We all know who, Clementine. I feel like I ain't gotta say much for this, but she can adapt to any situation. She has great leadership skills, and she was basically built to survive. In a sense, she kind of like Lee with AJ, but I think she raised AJ good enough to where she might not need to go after AJ. I think AJ, he could take this number 1 spot if somehow, some way, there's another Walking Dead game out. But if you like this video, like, subscribe, let a noty bell if you wanna. Leave a comment. Think of what you think. Do you think Ben is too high? Do you think my placement is absolutely justifiable? If not, let me know why. But with that being said,